Hey everybody, welcome back inside the stash. So we're going to take a look at a few things that have come in recently. This will be a mercifully shorter video than the last one that I forced you guys to watch, that we filmed back at Thanksgiving, but just uploaded a couple, 3 days ago. Yeah, this will be, let's see, four kits that came in from Baiyi, as well as a purchase from the European Union. So we'll go ahead and flip the camera on around and plow through it real quick, and I'll be back in a flash. All right, so our European Union purchase here would be the brand new tool. Say it one more time with me, brand new tool. Land Rover Series 3 long wheelbase station wagon. We went through brand new tool that many times because some people still insist this is the Larry kit or the old Monogram kit, which were both. One was short wheelbase, one was long base, but both of them they were missing that back door. There were two doors. So this is a brand new kit, 184 parts. I will say, based on looking through the instructions and things of that nature, you're probably going to use somewhere in the neighborhood of about 135 to 140 on any given build. That is because this kit includes both the left-hand drive that you see here. This is a Germany-based Land Rover that they measured out and 3D scanned. Yes, 3D scan for this. So it is a left-hand drive in this. Obviously, a lot of people will be like, oh, it's a Land Rover, it's right-hand drive. Yes, right-hand drive is included. So you have all the parts for the left-hand drive and the right-hand drive, which includes several different options under the hood for where the brake reservoir goes and things like that. So there's a number of options there. There is two different year cycles that you can make out of this, as a sloppy way, I guess, of saying it. Basically, there's two front bumpers in here. There's two sets of mirrors. You have these wing mirrors on the doors. There's also a set of, I call them JDM style, but they're old school British mirrors that go up here on the front fenders. And there are two entire interiors in here as well. One is a very early 1960s interior that's pretty much just a flat sort of canvas and vinyl interior. And then there is the well, compared to the two of them together, the much more upscale, if you will, late 70s interior. The same thing with the mirrors and the bumpers and things like that. They all attach to, it'll tell you in here version 1, version 2, depending on which one of the two you're building as far as what years they go. We'll have to flip it around to the back of the box here, sort of get a gist of what's going on. It is full detail. And again, like I said, this is set up left-hand drive because of the German nature of this. However, again, right-hand drive is all in here. This sort of gives you an idea of what parts are in the box. But it is a very nice kit. Look forward to getting around to actually building this one. It is something I went through Germany to get. There are a number of them on sale in the UK for a little bit less in terms of price, but the UK has a tendency to ship things over by just wrapping the boxes in brown wrapping paper and then mailing them, which means that a lot of times we get them here in the United States flat or damaged in some other way. And if you bought a Revell of Germany kits in these boxes, I know a lot of people don't care for these boxes. They don't, and to a certain extent, I don't understand why they don't go to a top and bottom style box too, because these are about the size of the import kit, so it's not like they don't make boxes the size that have a lid and a top to them. But be that as it may, the thing about them is that the body is always loaded without it being in a bag on one end or the other of the box. In this case, this was not the end of the box. I opened it, and the body was all the way down here on the other end. So with it being sort of a flimsy box and the body being not wrapped in plastic, like everything in here, as you can see, we take a peek in here, everything in here, all in plastic. The body, not in plastic. So they tend to get damaged. The body in this case, which I guess I'm going to let me do this so it comes up a little bit, is very, very nice. Nothing has been glued to this. This is the way it comes out of the box. It is probably one of the nicest slide molded one-piece bodies I've seen in a long time. Just from a detail perspective and a casting perspective, this is a lot more complex than you give it credit for. Just sort of glance at it, because it seems to be just sort of a big box with some curves on it. There's a lot of subtle stampings in this. Things like having the back rivet detail and the back deck there, and all of the positions for the door openings. And I said it's you got the hinges in, the hinges are off, are raised. The door, the door handles are inset. There's a, if you really take a look at this as it comes down here, it's stepping out and in and out and in a number of times. But it is very well done. The only real mold lines are lines that go along the very top edge here. They have pretty much managed to hide the rest of it within the body panel lines themselves. There's a little, my example has a little bit of flash right here, right where my thumb is right there, which is, I'm not going to critique it too much. That being really the only bit of flash on something that is this complicated a shape to get out of a mold is pretty nice. It is not so much a flimsy, but it is a sturdier type plastic than normally you would expect out of a Revell kit. Again, probably because of the complicated nature of this, trying to get it to come back out of the mold. Obviously, your ejector pins are going to be all in the bottom here, and you have to sort of pay attention to like where they are because you have some interior detail as well. So you can't muss that up too much. And there's a series of injector pins in there, but really they're not too terribly bad comparatively to how they could have been. So all in all, good job to Revell of Germany, at least on the prospects of molding out that body. That was something that could have been a huge mess, and they managed to pretty much knock it out of the park as far as that goes. So we're just taking a look. It is made in Poland, so that part of the equation as far as Revell of Germany and where they're molding their kits still holds, because that's where they've been doing it for a while. Tooling tends to be cut in China, but then the production is actually done in Poland. Although there was talk that they were going to move the actual tooling to Poland, but I don't know if anything ever came of that. That was chit-chat before the Hobbico bankruptcy. So over at Buyee, we picked up 2 of these. And if you're thinking, well, that's an awful odd place to pick up a current kit, yes, you're right. Normally I would not buy a frontline kit from Buyee. Just to the nature of the shipping in Japan. The shipping from Japan makes it end up costing more than it would if I just went and bought this at my local hobby shop. However, these 2, because I said there's a pair of them. See, there's proof. There's the other one. These 2 were being sold as they came in one of the local hobby shops in Japan. And I'm not sure what the company is that made these decals. I see them referred to as MD Printing. So I'm not sure if that's the name of the actual decal company or it's just the type of decal manufacturing that was used. These appear to be appear to be like a cross between homemade decals and Alps decals, because they are printed in white, and that's not something you can do on a regular printer. Or they may be the laser printer, the digital printer type stuff that we use for our decals, but they don't quite. Our decals don't need to be double printed the way some of these decals are. But at any rate, there's probably, I want to say, 2, 4, 6. I think there's 8 sets of decals total that this company has done. They did both, basically all the AMGs that ran in Super GT for both 2016 and 2017. These were very, very short, limited production run decals. I don't know of anyone who ever sold them outside of Japan, mainly because of the fact that Super GT is a highly licensed racing series, and making these decals would effectively be illegal in Japan. So they were done on a very, very short run basis, and they were packaged with kits at least 1 or 2 Japanese hobby shops. And like, people who shop there obviously knew what they were buying, but they're not mentioned anywhere. You can't like just go online and track these decals down. But I was trying to get a couple different sets of these and ended up winning 2 sets of basically the same thing. Irony. And now I need to go look what the 2019 livery looked like, but I got the 2016 Leon Racing, the Leon Custos, Vestos, however you want to pronounce that, racing livery, which is different than the 2018 Championship Series. This is a completely different watch back here. There's no watch on the hood like there is on the 2018 car. And like I said, they are printed in white. But if you take this and you run it through Google Translators on your phone, it'll tell you to cut very close to the decals, because the decals all one clear and stuff like that. So I'll be interested to see what these actually look like. Looking at them like in, offset with these ones, these printed backgrounds for the Autobox number placards, those are clearly 3 separate decals, and it looks like all of the little arrows are separate too. So I'm not totally sure that these aren't professionally done decals in the sense of them being actually individual and separate and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see what these actually end up turning out and turning out and working with. I'm trying to see what this says up here. It's just, I thought maybe it was a manufacturer's name on it, but it's not. And then the other one I ended up getting was the 2017 Leon R&D Leon Vestos or Custos watch livery, and you can see here, just glancing at this, the watch is in a completely different place in the back deck. There's a watch face off-centered on the front of the car. On the 2018 car, this watch is centered directly in the middle of the hood, and the watch things on the sides are different. So this being sort of on the back deck, it's not on the fenders here, it's not on the fenders there, but it's the same car in 2017. So now that I have decals to build the 2016 and 2017 versions of the 2018 championship car, and this is the same thing here. It's got a bunch of Leon and Hugo Boss's Festos decals, and I'm assuming there's 2 sheets of decals in here. I'm assuming all the watch stuff is on the other set of decals. Be very, very interesting, I guess, to see if these are not like individual decals like you would expect with water slides, of what just a complete and total mess of clear coat this is going to be trying to get this watch decal on. So I'll be interested to see what those are like. I was trying to get there's 2 other Mercedes-Benz teams that run over there, completely different liveries, because Hobby Design did the one for the Evangeline car, and obviously the folks at Tamiya did the 2018 Leon Vestos car because it's the championship car. I was trying to get one or the other of the other 2 cars that run as AMGs because they're completely different as far as what they look like, and these were being sold for quite a bit of money. Really not totally unreasonably outrageous when you consider the fact that they came with a model kit itself plus the decals, but it was getting kind of pricey. I got these 2, and then that was pretty much the end of my, let's go have fun on buy budget for stuff like this. I'll keep an eye out. I'll get them eventually, but we'll see what these end up looking like and working out. I think the 2019 season, Custos, Vestos, whatever you want to look at this, they didn't sponsor the car this year, which the car just has a whole bunch of Leon Racing liveries, but I don't think it has any watches on it at all. Still a matte black car, still the number 65, but it's a much more basic design in terms of what the decals look like. And now I have like a whole bunch of these Leon decals, printed in this font, so I can just copy the font. I might look at seeing what the 2019 decals look like, especially if there's not all of this goofy watch design to try to draw out, because then I'd have all 4 cars. And at that point, when you get to certain hoarding levels, you need to hoard it all. So we keep you up to date on that. And throw that one onto the Barbie, so to speak, of kit decal ideas. Oh, one of those went over the edge. Oh no. Oh well. Anyway, 3 more kits here. We picked up this, which is the Fujimi GMC Safari. We have the Chevrolet Astro, and always wanted the GMC one, but the GMC ones there's only 2 versions of the GMC Safari. There were like 4 or 5 versions of the Astro. And the Safari is much more hard to find for some reason. Probably because there's only 2 of them. Thankfully, these kits look a lot better than these box art does. For some reason, the belt line, the proposed belt line on here, because they've done this with the shading to sort of show where the belt line would be, is way lower, and this is way higher than it should be. These bodies do not have this cartoonish appearance to them in the box. They are just regular. They look fine. Assuming that you care what an Astro looks like, but I just pull this out of here. It's not a weird cartoony body. It's a normal proportion. I don't know why the thing is drawn that way, but it is what it is. These are left-hand drive U.S. spec vans. It's kind of goofy as to why they decided to make minivans. I know minivans to a certain extent are somewhat popular over there. especially these, because these are, these are about the size of a full size van in Japan when they'd be a mid sized van here in the United States. There was always the rumor that they did them because there was a van in Initial D, but they never made a model kit of it. So I'm thinking that's probably just an old wives' tale. And yeah, so that's that. Not a whole heck of a lot else to say about that. This one is a kit I've been looking for a while, and might have to redraw the decals just because they look like they're a little old, but we'll see. It is the Mines liveried. Can't really say it's like tuned because it's a model car. It's not, nothing's tuned about this, just a box full of plastic. But it is the Mines Spec R S15 Silvia. It means I only have 2 more Mines kits to have them all. I need the Stagia, the station wagon, which is basically the Autech body kit with some Mines decals. I might end up just using one of these as sort of a template of what the decals are supposed to look like as far as the Mines signature, the logos, and the striping, and just create a set for the Autech, because the Autech kit just got reissued not too terribly long ago. And then there's one for the Evo 7, and I have the Evo 5 and I have the Evo 6, but not the Evo 7. And so here's just a general gist of what you get the Mines decals, maybe focus, yes, come on, it's about as big close as it's gonna get. I don't want to throw it into macro mode like I did the last video and have to start the video all over again. But at any rate, just a straight stock S15 inside with a set of TE37s. And then last but not least, and the cool pickup of this arrangement is this. It is the, slightly out of the top of the picture because the boxes are too big, Mitsubishi Pajero 92, what they call them, the Paris-Le Cap winner. In 1992, the Paris to Dakar rally was lengthened to go to the bottom of South Africa, rather than stopping, obviously, in Dakar. And so that is what this means. There really isn't anything more to say about that. It's just a longer, the rally was 1,800 miles longer than it normally would be, and went the whole top to bottom of the continent of Africa. This is a full detail kit. I picked this up because we picked up the other 2 Peugeot Paris to Dakar rally winners, and these Paris to Dakar things that are sort of half a car, half a truck things are just fun in general. The decals in this are beyond salvation. But I probably can scan them to redraw them. Shunko did a set of these, but they're out of production, and it'll probably work out that by the time I would get around to building this, they're going to run a set off anyway. And then I have another thing with this stripe back here is silver, and I'm not sure I could technically get away with that with the decal processing that I use. It's not metallic silver. Obviously, I could just sort of draw these other things out and then just mask off a thin line and paint it with, like a X11 type of silver. But be that as it may, they ran like 6 of these. Mitsubishi did in the rally. There's these Nikon sponsored ones. There are some Rothmans sponsored ones, and there are some. I cannot think what the third one is now, but. Let's see, we'll spin it this way because it'll show you the engine and the 2 spare tires in the back there. This, is an original Tamiya kit. I don't think they ever reissued this one, to be honest. This was obviously sitting in somebody's window because look how, faded this side is and how deep the color is on that side. So obviously wherever this was, it was facing the sun that way. The kit itself is perfect condition. Just the decals. If you ever get a set of decals, if you're ever sitting around one day and you're like, I wonder if I could save these decals. If you get your decals out and they look like this, see how they're all cracked? That can't be fixed. Once your decals dry out like that. And that's really a shame because these decals really aren't too bad color saturation wise. The totals are probably, the number badges and the Mitsubishi stuff is probably a little faded. Throw it in the sun real quick would fix that. But there's no amount of decal solution because I see that get, just use the micro scale stuff. This is quite literally looks like it's like shattered glass or overcooked clear sugar. It's just the whole sheet is that way. I don't want to touch the sheet and the color parses. I'm afraid it'll rub off. It's that brittle. Yeah, the clear coat, once your clear coat cracks like that, there's nothing holding the decal together anymore. And since most clear coat is like starch, it's just like touch it too much and it's gonna break off. If you just rub your finger over it ever so gently, you can feel it's rough underneath your finger. So as you can see here, like I said, the decal has this sort of silver area. It probably wouldn't be too bad if you sort of drew everything else here and then drew the black lines and then left a gap and then masked the silver off. Because I'm thinking you probably want to mask off this red for the whole back deck is. Draw this and this as separate decals. Draw the Mitsubishi and the Rally Art as separate decals. These Michelins as separate decals. And then, you know, just spray paint the red parts on there. Because this is basically the entire back deck of the truck here. But, yeah, it's still just a very, very cool piece. I really dig these old. The Pajero was a truck or an SUV, so it's just very, very neat bit of kit. This kit, speaking of which, comes with itty bitty tiny screws and a screwdriver. So, this one sort of bolts together more than it does anything else. So let's see if I can look here. There has a couple of, like, the spare tires on here are mounted to the rims already. Okay. So they won't have to include a second set of, or include extra tires, basically. And, you know, Tommy and their gigantic sprues of doom here, but you see there's an engine, the full detail engine and everything else like that. So it'll be a fun one to sort of like build all of them out sort of in unison, if you will, or one after another, or something along those lines, to do all the Paris to Dakar truck cars. I'm trying to see if this has a mention of the other cars and other ones involved, but it does not. Unfortunately, it does not. I'll give you an idea of what you're looking at here, engine assembly wise. Quite a bit. It's a full detail engine. So that is that. And guys, that is that. So that'll be the last thing we had to talk about here. Just put this down. You get a nice sort of departing or an incoming Mitsubishi Pajero as you look here. And like I said, that pretty much wraps up this one. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's really going on. No. So the channel is, by the time you see this, the channel will have been caught up. We'll have gotten all of the staff reports that have been recorded the last couple of weeks up online, and we'll move back to a normal schedule. So hopefully that will make everybody happy, including myself, because it kind of grates on me when the things come out late. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoy this one, and we'll see you guys on the other side.